Hi, my name is Aniki, and this is my letter to the teenagers. Beloved, do you sometimes ask yourself what exactly your sexual interest is? I guess not, but it is a necessary discussion people shy away from these days. The earlier you know it, the better for you. You might be wondering why you should know this, being from a very religious Christian background. Well, that's if you are, like I am. Let me tell you this. Regardless of who you are and where you're from, you still need to know your sexual interest because it's a basic information you need to know about yourself. There wouldn't have been any need to make this a subject of discussion or worry, but for the manipulations of the devil and our various attractions when it comes to the opposite sex or same sex. What is its sexual interest? This is the relative emotional sexual desire for an object or person depending on where the drive of the subject is directed and what triggers the sexual drive or attraction. This is usually regardless of your type of person or background. Oftentimes, there's usually this confidence in us that we can never be wrong on our sexual interest. Why? Because we feel it's natural and God-given. But trust me, most of the so-called natural sexual interests were influenced by something internal and sometimes physical and can be consciously worked on. We will be looking at different sexual interests or drives as given by God, manipulated by the devil, or influenced by some external qualities. The first sexual interest I'll be talking about is the God-given sexual interest, the one we call heterosexual. For the purpose of marriage or sexual intercourse, it is God-given when you are attracted to the opposite sex only. This attraction could be influenced by various things like body shape, body type, intellect, family background, spirituality, education, height, character, amongst many others. When intellect is your highest point of attraction or sexual interest, that is called sapiosexuality. To be attracted by any of these things is not sinful but could lead to sin when its drive is so much that it becomes a force to make your marital bed defiled. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 4. Remember that the bed must remain undefiled till you make those marital vows before God and men when you become of age, which means it is better to relate distantly with the one for which you have the drive. This type of sexual interest can be traceable to Genesis chapter 2 when God created Eve as a helpmeet for Adam. Why didn't God create same sex for Adam as helpmeet? The answer is simple. It's because the only sexual interest he wants is that of the opposite sex. For those attracted to objects, this is unlike any of the men and women of God that walked with God for God in the Bible. To be sexually interested or attracted to inanimate objects is to have sexual drive for objects and structures like pens, tattoo, dildo, mannequin, and the likes. It is called objectum sexuality or objectophilia. This is very rare as it is mostly found in people who are a little mentally indisposed. However, it could be picked up or developed unconsciously, and in this case, a conscious effort is required to overcome it. And it's not normal nor healthy for anyone. As a teenager who at an early stage of life begins to discover this is their sexual interest, you need to seek God's help and ask Him to help you overcome such interest. When a problem is known as a problem, then it's no longer a problem, because admitting it is a step of solving that problem. If you already discovered this as your interest, sexual interest, then that is a step of checkmating yourself. There is not a person God cannot help. There is not a problem God cannot fix. You just need to take the first step of seeing it as a problem, then pray to God for help and contact your spiritual mentor. Now to the homosexuals. Let's discuss what exactly this is. This is the act or process of being sexually interested only in one's own gender. A male sexually interested in his fellow males is known as a gay person, and a female sexually interested in his fellow females is known as a lesbian. As a minister of the gospel who is very much interested in teenagers, I would say I have seen and heard a lot of experiences on this when it comes to teenagers' life. These are experiences that most parents do not know about, yet these teenagers deal with it themselves while under their parents' care. So I'd say I know better or enough not to judge anyone. But the fact still remains this isn't good. And if discovered as your sexual interest, should be treated carefully with utmost urgency and with God. You might feel being attracted to your fellow gender is a normal thing planted in you by God, but it's not. This right here is one of the manipulations of the devil. If God has planted it in you, he would either have created another Adam for Adam or said it expressly that we were permitted not to multiply in cases of homosexuality. But he did not mention it. The devil is such a manipulative being that he makes things he does as though it were God's own handwork. Yes, he has worked closely with God enough to create counterfeits of his works, and feelings and attractions apart. It comes so natural to you that when accepted will gain full ground inside of you, and then you will be thinking of settling down only with same gender as yours, which is very wrong and unwanted by God. If Jesus was too pure to be born by a lesbian, then your body is too sacred to be found succumbing to the manipulations of the devil. Remember what Romans chapter 5 verse 20b says. But where sin abounded, grace abounded much more. So there's enough grace provided for you by our Lord Jesus Christ to resist this manipulation. It might not be easy at first, but trust me when I say it's an enjoyable process, as you will eventually be happy you took a step towards accepting the available grace of God and using it to overcome homosexuality. It's toxic to your spiritual health and must be discarded in your walk with God. I pray the Lord be with you and help you overcome every sexual interest that is not of God, and also help you stay undefiled till you become of age to get married, as you contact your spiritual mentor, which I strongly advise should be the same sex with you, as you will most likely be free with them, the same sex, than the opposite sex when discussing some issues. Devote yourself to working with God. God bless you. Your friend, Aniki.